Before sunrise, the crew prepares for giant porcupine fish, Diodon hystrix, armed with spines and a built-in airbag.
Giant porcupinefish hold near ledges and rubble, so this set is planned with paper, current, and timing, not electronics.
Everything is ready. Now the bottom has to answer with a giant porcupine fish.
Down here, the bottom can look lifeless until a giant porcupine fish drifts in like a shadow with spines.
A tiny vibration in the line is the only clue. Giant porcupine fish don't chase fast. They drift and decide.
For giant porcupine fish, the window is tied and patience, measured the old way, on paper.
With giant porcupine fish, landing is about control. Spines, teeth, and sudden movement all at once.
A change in current can mean something passed close. Giant porcupine fish can be inches away and still vanish into the terrain.
For giant porcupine fish, the window is tied and patience, measured the old way, on paper.
Everything is ready. Now the bottom has to answer with a giant porcupine fish.
There it is, giant porcupine fish in patrol mode, close enough to see, still refusing the bait. A giant porcupine fish can inspect a hook with calm precision. One pass, one decision, then gone. Quick surface hop, giant porcupine fish can break the water without warning, then disappear again. Two giant porcupine fish in frame, and still the bait hangs. Patience beats pressure.
They stage containment now, because once a giant porcupine fish is on deck, mistakes hurt.
Another hop, giant porcupine fish can turn calm water into a splash in a heartbeat.
The window tightens, now it's wait for the moment a giant porcupine fish finally takes.
That pull is different. Real load. A giant porcupine fish just made contact.
Clean corner jaw hookup. Now the leader runs tight while the giant porcupine fish tries to bulldoze the bottom. Hauling starts, and containment becomes the plan. Spines can't be allowed to surprise anyone. A sudden jump flashes the fish for the first time, and the crew never gives slack.
Another burst at the surface, energy spent against steady pressure.
It inflates, turning into a spiked ball, using body volume as its first defense. Inflated at the surface, spines out, water exploding. Then it tries to sink again.
A jam under tension is cleared in seconds, because hesitation breaks gear and people.
Another burst at the surface, energy spent against steady pressure.
Even when it turns, the hook stays pinned at the jaw corner without tearing. Containment wins. Bin first, lid closed fast, and nobody reaches for spines. One last flash at the surface, then the fight tries to reset under the ship. Containment wins. Bin first, lid closed fast, and nobody reaches for spines.
A clean rotation frees the hook from the jaw corner, keeping control without risking a puncture.
They keep the load sealed, strap it tight, and ice it down without taking risks. Bottom edge sets depend on tide and time, so every move is logged by hand.
They reset fast, because the next strike can come from inches off the bottom.
Fresh bait hangs again, and the camera waits through long, empty seconds.
A few grease on paper keeps them over the structure where giant porcupine fish drift.
A sudden load yanks the coils, and the crew reacts like one machine.
A second giant porcupine fish commits,
and inflation turns the fight into pure resistance.
They protect the leader path, because one crossover can end the fight in seconds.
A quick surface jump spines out, then it tries to sink again. It uses rotation and volume, but the hook stays exactly where it should.
Rain turns the deck dangerous, but the workflow stays disciplined. They guide the giant porcupine fish like a live hazard, head aligned, pressure steady, hands kept back. The lid closes fast, turning chaos into control in one motion.
They strip the hook cleanly and reset the deck for the next pull.
A few grease on paper keeps them over the structure where giant porcupine fish drift.
As light fades, the bottom turns quiet again, and that silence can break at any moment.
When tension spikes, the rules are simple. Control the line and stay out of its path.
A heavier fish hits, and inflation turns the pull into a slow, stubborn drag.
Near the buoy, it surges again, spray and rope filling the frame. Speed comes up, but control stays the priority.
It wedges into structure, using the bottom as a shield, but the hook stays at the jaw corner. A third landing ends the hardest pull, contained, controlled, and injury-free.
One roll at the surface, and steady pressure keeps the fight from restarting.
A third landing ends the hardest pull, contained, controlled, and injury-free.
Straps and ice lock the load down for the ride to port. With the hull closed, the job turns from capture to delivery.
Washdown restores order, because the next trip starts with a clean deck.
Sea quiets, but the work keeps moving toward shore. Loose loads ruin trips, so they check every strap twice. The approach is planned on paper, keeping the run quiet and controlled.
Gear is locked down, leaving nothing loose for arrival.
Dawn returns, and the story shifts from ocean risk to shoreside precision.
On shore, giant porcupine fish becomes a logistics job first, handled fast and kept controlled.
Containment is verified before processing, because spines and safety don't get a second chance. Forklifts pull the load inside, keeping time outside the cold as short as possible. Staging is cold and quiet, designed to keep temperature stable between steps. The wash line runs non-stop, stripping sand and salt before any specialized handling begins. The truck rolls out, and the cold chain becomes the new battlefield. The wash line runs non-stop, stripping sand and salt before any specialized handling begins. Spine safety comes first, turning giant porcupine fish from a hazard into a manageable workflow.
For porcupine fish, safety is procedural, handled only by trained staff under controlled protocols.
The first cut station moves fast and clean, with sanitation driving every motion. Filleting reveals firm, pale flesh, cut clean to protect texture and yield.
Trim work refines each fillet, keeping color and firmness consistent. Vacuum seals lock in cleanliness and protect the product for cold storage. Quality control stays tactile and visual, firmness, color, and clean cuts. Vacuum seals lock in cleanliness and protect the product for cold storage. Cartons close fast, turning portions into uniform units ready for the freezer. Pallets build up quickly, and alignment matters as much as speed. The floor runs like a system, each station feeding the next without pause. Between runs, sanitation resets the plant, because contamination ruins everything.
Sharp blades mean cleaner cuts, faster work, and safer hands.
Sorting keeps flow balanced, so packaging never has to stop. Final seal checks protect quality long after the knives are done. Wrap and corners lock the load dough, so cold storage stays organized and safe. In chilled holding, airflow and order keep every pallet consistent. Byproducts move on a separate path, keeping the main line clean and controlled. Training stays hands-on, because safety and consistency are learned through repetition. Cartons flow straight into cold storage, keeping the chain unbroken. Cross-docking keeps product moving with almost zero warm time. Order in the cold room is the last step of quality control. Blast freezing drops temperature fast, locking the cold chain in place.
In frozen storage, airflow and spacing keep every pallet stable.
Reefer loading is fast because minutes outside cold add up. Every handoff protects the same goal, an unbroken cold chain.
In the kitchen, clean portions show why controlled handling matters from the very start. Seasoning stays simple, letting the giant porcupine fish speak for itself after controlled handling upstream.
A hard sear builds a clean crust fast. Controlled heat, clean timing, no drama.
Basting finishes the surface, then resting evens the heat. Precision to the very end. A simple plate highlights texture, clean, firm, and built for a fork. The fork breaks clean flakes, proof of careful processing and controlled heat.
One bite confirms it. Clean flavor, firm texture, and a safe finish to a dangerous catch.
The kitchen resets. Clean surfaces, clean workflow, and the story comes full circle.
Back aboard, the deck goes quiet, but the next run is already taking shape.
Paper and time replace noise, setting up the next corridor and the next pull.
Hooks go back on the rack because the ocean never stays quiet for long.
Rest comes in short bursts, earned between hard pulls and long nights.
The ship pushes back into open water toward whatever answers next.
The log closes, the light drops, and the next voyage is already waiting.